You have just gone through a turbulent time in your personal life, and then you lose your job. You have lost your family because of a messy divorce, and you've turned to alcohol because you're down on your luck. No matter how hard you work, you can't seem to provide enough for the family that you want to provide for. These kinds of things happen to people all the time, and having someone to turn to in the midst of all of your hardest times can make a difference between being able to carry through and falling short. I have been blessed in my life that I haven't really required the help of the Salvation Army, but I have been through difficult times and they have helped me quite a bit. Anytime you've walked by the entrance to a Walmart and saw a Salvation Army bell ringer, did you walk by it thinking that you will donate your spare change the next time you go by? How about a time where you went by the Salvation Army in your town and you saw people inside, perhaps homeless people receiving hot meals? Did it cross your mind that you were glad that you were not the one in that position? The charitable efforts of this organization are for all people in many different kinds of need, and they're only made possible through the generosity and kindness of normal individuals like yourself. The Salvation Army is a large organization that makes helping people across the world its personal responsibility, but it always starts with one person. All of the charitable feats that they accomplish are only possible when enough people do their own part to help, no matter how small or large that part may be. Today I will share with you a few of the worthy causes championed by the Salvation Army, as well as what you can do to help with those efforts. The Salvation Army is constantly having to make do with far too few resources to adequately meet the needs of the many people that depend on their kindness and good work. The Red Kettle donations that people know so well have seen their annual holiday donations decrease between 5 and 10% each year for the last 3 years. In 2013, they were shooting for bringing in $700,000 in kettle donations for the two towns of Chicago and St. Louis, but by the time the holidays were over, they had only managed to bring in about half of their goal, which was about $400,000. This scenario is repeated in towns and cities everywhere across the country. If every person in a community of 20,000 people, say, donated just 50 cents each to a bell ringer, then that community will have raised $10,000. Just imagine what the end result would be for a place like New York if everyone donated 50 cents. The college scholarship sponsored by the Salvation Army, known as the Linden Scholarship, has helped college students with the expenses of living while they pursue their higher education. This scholarship has been consistently underfunded for the last 10 years, though, with only about half the number of scholarships available now that they offered in 2004. While these scholarships aren't necessarily feeding the hungry or doing anything drastic, they are helping people that are in need, as well as helping society itself by promoting the benefits of higher education. The Salvation Army has a donor society called the William Booth Society. It is for donors who give $5,000 or more in donations throughout the calendar year. This group still boasts a robust number every year, but in the last 2 years the number of people in this group have shrunk, slightly by about 15%. While the numbers do change from year to year, in 2013 there were about 81,000 people in this society, down from about 109,000 in 2012. The Salvation Army is also well known for their volunteer corps of people that give not only money or gifts, but their time, which can be far more precious. Whether it is a blood drive or a food drive or providing much needed services for the people that are very unfortunate, volunteers are a critical aspect of the Salvation Army and one that it would be unable to function well without. The number of volunteers that sign up varies from year to year, but in recent years the Salvation Army has reported an 8% drop in overall turnout for such events, and they are always shorthanded. When it comes to having enough people to host events like Toys for Tots or blood drives for local hospitals, the people that volunteer often have to work twice as hard to make up for the lack of manpower that they would otherwise have had. If everyone in a given community were to set a goal of donating either a few dollars every week to their local Salvation Army, or maybe volunteering a few hours of their time to help with Salvation Army hosted events, then just imagine what the positive effects of the community could be. Considering the wide variety of services that the Salvation Army offers, I believe that the effects would be far-reaching indeed. If this happened not just in one community, but in all the cities and towns across America, then the number of people that could be helped would be gargantuan. Alcoholics Anonymous and drug rehab meetings would have enough staff to reach out and help people with their substance abuse problems. From the influx of received donations, the homeless would have shelters to help them get back on their feet. Needy children would have happy holidays when they got a new toy from the Toys for Tots program that suddenly had plenty of toys to give out. These are just a few of the local benefits that would result from everyone doing their part. If everyone behaved this way across the whole world, then it could truly change the world we live in for the better. Now let's examine the flip side of this coin and imagine what the world would be like if the Salvation Army didn't exist and no one donated to it. All of the programs that they run would be gone, and all of the people that they helped would be left without a lifeline. The number of hungry people in the world would be even greater than it already is. People that otherwise would have received help in the form of counseling or substance abuse prevention would most likely relapse or spiral deeper into depression and desperation. Children that want only nothing but the basic of necessities, nothing, not to say anything of a new toy, would be left wanting. People that could have made it through another semester of college if they had had a little more help didn't have. All of the homeless that rely on the Salvation Army to provide them with shelter would be left in the elements, possibly dying from either heat or cold. Families that don't have a way to buy warm clothes and supplies for their homes wouldn't have any Salvation Army stores to go to acquire them, leaving many people without the basic necessities in many cases. These are just a few examples of what the world would be like without the Salvation Army. Indeed, there would be many people in the world that would be left cold and hungry and without hope. Today I have shared with you many ways in which the Salvation Army can affect the lives of people in the communities in which they operate. I have also outlined that while the Salvation Army has a far-reaching network of dedicated individuals who work tirelessly to help people in need, it always starts at the local level, with everyday citizens doing kind deeds and wanting to make a difference. It isn't very hard to make the world a better place. You just start small and try to improve your own little corner of the world before eventually taking bigger steps to help the people and their lives around you. All it takes is maybe giving whatever spare change you have in your pocket, or possibly some of your time, or maybe donating a little blood. There are many things that you can do to help. Many of these things are small, and all it takes to make a difference is just having the will to actually do them. The next time you see a frostbitten bell ringer standing outside of your Walmart, just remember what it is they're actually standing there freezing for. They're there in the hopes that whatever money they raise will go towards helping somebody that is truly in need. It's the spirit of compassion and caring at its highest, and maybe after considering this fact, you will go ahead and put a few quarters in the kettle right then instead of waiting till the next time around.